Yeah, okay, mate. So I did make a 12, 13-minute video, and it didn't work on me. I've got a problem with this headset at the moment. I need to throw it out, actually, and get a new one. It's a temporary one in Ireland, so I'm just trying to make do at the moment, but I definitely need to get a new one. Uh, yeah, basically, I was talking about, this is very, very interesting volume. It has dropped away. Interest has dropped away, but it has dropped away. Um, the thing is that we are deep red now on a 6 month, so it is kind of important. This is a big, big level. It's touching. I don't know if you can see that there. To zoom in a little bit, but it is touching exactly touching the previous high down here. That usually becomes a huge level. So very important to watch it right now. The other thing, obviously it's red on the 3 month, red on the month. This on the month, oh, sorry, the 3 month is trying to create this doji candle. It's trying to create a reversal. It's trying to create maybe a bullish 3 month stop hunt. The monthly obviously is doing the same. Okay, so but what I would be focusing on, if I don't know if you're in it or not yet, but a new 2 week candle is probably going to be, it's 3 days away. It's probably going to be the place to be looking to get into this if you're actually trying to trade. If the market is going to have a bounce into a new 2 week, there is something happening here with there is something like somebody either knows something. It's either wash trading or something with some exchange or I don't know, like or accumulation, of course. It's always hard to tell for sure. It is unusual, right? It's unusual volume down here in the lows, but it's definitely something interesting. It's on the chart. There's something going on. Somebody knows something, and so I would trade it. I would focus on a new 2 week candle on that. There's no real need to be foaming and before for that. I hope not. There is a possibility that we dip down in here. I would like to see it come down into this green box before buying it. That to me is a, inverted commas, safer place to be buying it. The hope is that this doesn't bounce over the weekend when the stock market closes because of low liquidity. Because of the stock market used the other day um, with the Trump stuff. So if it gives it down here, that seems to be a safer place because that is the filling of the 2 week wick. Okay, so that's where I like it down here to buy. Uh, I did post, and I probably posted before about XRP as well. Uh, we should just have a quick look at XRP as well. Now, the first video I made was more in depth. Truth is, I forget what I talked about. It was a 12-minute video. So, but it was, I talked about this volume here on XRP, after a 90 something% crash right down on here into the COVID crash. And we've seen this volume here on Bitstamp, and we talked about it. We made lots of videos on it. We said, it should be a buy. That looks like a buy. It's kind of strange volume. Somebody's up to something here with XRP, and then all of a sudden XRP did this and had a huge bounce from here to here. That was a monster bounce to start that off, and then that move into there, I guess a 450, maybe 500% move. And then after that, price dropped away, back down because this was a Coinbase delisting, and then it created all this FOMO or whatever. But basically, that was a test pump, and this was a wipe out of the people, wipe out of the original buyers before the real move higher. Um, and that's quite common in the market. But what I was saying is, in the last video, you can wait until price white 100 moving average and trade forward, and that's the safer way to be doing it. But that was only an 850% move. Well, only, it was still great, of course. But if you actually traded down here in the lows, we started knife catching. I didn't draw that perfectly, but it was about a 14x. You can see it there. I'm not saying you're going to catch the exact lows, but you want to give yourself the best possibility. That's a 14x there basically, and but this volume was a telltale sign that it was a good time to be accumulating. With does have similar volume. Now we don't know for sure if the same result's going to happen, but obviously volume is extremely interesting and very, very important. Now the next thing I want to show you, in my opinion, one of the most important things to be looking at is the sentiment tool. Okay. Um, Before I get into the sentiment tool, actually, I see the white 100 here. So the white 100, you normally need to get above the white. You do need to get in above the white 100 whole market, but the market can bottom out when it gets above it. So it's either you try and knife catch and accumulate below it to get the bigger gains, which is a little bit riskier, or you buy above the white 100 and take the smaller gains. So the market bottomed way below the white 100. The market actually dropped away here, well, that's probably there. We could say that that was the comparison to there, and this is a comparison to maybe here in theory, right? Well, the hope is if you're nailing the low right here, that could be a major low, and then obviously you get the bounce up and the consolidate, but the price has to get closer to the white 100 before it actually breaks out and then has a real move. Now you can see the gains from above the white 100 to there, or you can try and knife catch and get even more gains. It really depends on what you're interested in. I'm not saying you would catch the very lows there anyway. That's a 300% bounce just for reference. And then obviously up here is half that. It's almost 150. Um, so, do you want to aim for the bigger gains? This is a telltale sign. One of the telltale signs that it's potentially, decent to be accumulating. This is the very important thing as well. I want to show you. It's very important. The sentiment tool is rising sharply. Sentiment tool, after markets going down, this is a bullish divergence. This is a bullish divergence. Price is dropping, and the sentiment tool is rising, and I would say rising very sharply at that. I would think I don't have a crystal ball. The only we just have to look at the indicators, the charts and stuff. But when I see this sort of stuff happening, a lot of times there is a big bounce coming. Now, I don't want to get up, and I don't want you to FOMO in or whatever based on me. I'm just saying that that is off. There's no sellers left here. Look at this. There's huge sellers or whatever, and then there was nothing left here. It doesn't mean that the market has to go higher. It just means that sentiment is improving. Sellers are getting less. Uh, and there's a bullish divergence here. This is rising sharply, and this has been dropping sharply. So there's a bullish divergence. Um, this bottom one's a new version of the sentiment tool. As you can see, it flips green, telling you that there's a possibility that this is starting to turn into a buy. Of course, the price still drops in that period, but it hasn't yet. But it's rising. Um, so if we move out of that, because that volume will skew the problem, the price. Uh, I'm just going to turn off the time frame status here for a second. Uh, I'm just saying, like if you look in through here, you can see sentiment tool got green here. It started getting green in that first move. What was that first? That first move was a big move, and then it consolidated, and it got green again in here. Everything seems to be on the way. It got green in here again. It stayed green the entire way. But by following the sentiment tool, it can allow you to stay the course of the trend and make bigger gains. The sentiment tool will capture a lot of the move. Now, it's not always perfect in many ways because there can be, this move here flip red. You can see here it flip red, but if you bought here when it was flipping green, you would have been buying down here and caught this first move. Obviously, there was a pullback, sentiment tool flip red, but then it flipped green again down here and second move. So why I'm interested in the sentiment tool here is because obviously this is dropping, this is rising. It's rising on this is the 50, this is 35, and this is 20. Okay. So, and this all bottom one's also 35 for reference. It's the same as this one up here. Um, but they're all rising, right? They're all rising here, and they're all trying to flip green. And it looks like it's coming out of something here and attempting to maybe pop up and flip green and get some sort of recovery. That's what it looks like on sentiment tools. So if you see all these sentiment tools flipping green here, it's a good sign, and it might actually start some sort of uptrend. So I just wanted to point out that it's very important to be watching the sentiment tool. What's very interesting here is that uh, there's 8 months left to go in this yearly candle, and this is a full yearly retrace. The thought process, if you're a bull down here, is that this is not going to close the year out down here. There's going to be a large wick in this candle, right? And then coming into next year, there can be that maybe continuation back up, for example. But buying into a deep red coin like this, of course, there's risk in it. I'm definitely not going to say there's no risk or anything. Of course there's risk. We don't know how it's going to play out, and we don't know how the stock market and the tariffs and all are really going to affect the market. I have said many times that there's a possibility we are having a red year in Bitcoin and a red year in the stock market. Um, and we kind of need to respect that. I always say that the easy money, the safe money and easy money is made into green candles. When you're buying into any red candle at all, knife catch and a lot more dangerous. You can you can buy 100 times here in this red candle, and 100 buys, and you can still be losing money right now. No matter how many times you bought or down cost average, you can be losing money right now. But if in this large green candle, you can buy 100 times, and you will be profitable. All up here will be all profit. So you can be wrong 100 times on your entry point, but if you have patience, it can still go higher and make you money. You can be wrong 100 times here and still be losing money. Okay, so there's a big, big difference. It's a lot more risky to be buying into these candles. Um, and that's why I said, there's a possibility to trade the new 2 week candle to see if it'll fill the wick, because that is our next time frame. Every other time frame is red right now. Maybe the daily and stuff is bunched, but what I'm saying, any larger time frames are all red. Filling the wick here might give a buy opportunity to pop up and flip green again and give that bounce. In the near term, that's what I'd be watching. Anyway, mate, I hope it helps, and I hope you're well.